try to fetch the link, you should get the response. If it is 200, now move on to second step. If you are getting 200 response but you are not seeing the content, maybe there is an API in backend, or maybe there is script tag. Hi everyone, welcome to Python Web Scraping. I'm Asad Ali, and today in this video I'll tell you how you can decide which Python library to use for web scraping. If you have been following my videos, you will I'm sure you are familiar with a bunch of libraries like Selenium. There is request library, there is beautiful soup for parsing which is parsing library, as well as LXML, and then you have Scrapy framework. So it can be tricky for a beginner to how to decide which library to use to scrape a website. In this video I'll tell you how to check what is the step by step, what is the procedure. Let's say if you are going to scrape a website, there has to be a procedure, like where you start first, how to check the website, how to decide that website is static and dynamic. On the basis of all this information, you decide which framework or library you are going to use. So in this video I'll tell you how all these steps. Stay with me, and don't forget to subscribe the channel and hit the like video, because this is the best way to support my channel. So let's begin. Alright, so what you need to do is that you just open a browser and go to scrape.com. This is basically a website for this is a sandbox, web scraping sandbox, which means that you can practice your web scraping code on this website for free. They are not going to block you, and there are different endpoints as well. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is just click on this default, and you will see listing of codes here. Okay, so let's try to fetch this link. I hope that Scrapy is installed in your computer. If it's not, just pip install Scrapy in the terminal. Okay, so let me just go to open a terminal here. If you have Windows or any other, just open your terminal and try to follow these steps. First step is just open Scrapy shell, Scrapy space shell. Just press enter, and it's going to open a open Scrapy shell for you. Okay, alright, so once you have that, just copy this link into your shell and try to fetch it. Type fetch. Let me just try to zoom it if I can. Okay, now I hope you can see that. Fetch the link. Okay, now you do that. Once you do that, press enter and wait a little bit. It's okay, it's fetching the link. Okay, and once it fetches the link, it means that you have 200 response from the website codes.toscrape.com. Okay, what it means is that website did not block you. Whenever you see this 200 response, it means that website did not block you, and you did get the response from the website. Okay, to see the response, just type view and type response. Response is basically a variable that all of the response is saved into this variable. So you can just type view, and inside of it just enter response and press enter. Okay, once you do that, it's going to load the page that it got from that link when we fetched the that link. Okay, if you look here, it is basically saved in your temporary directory. Alright, so if you look here, I think we have got all the data, all that we need. We can extract the codes and all the tags and everything using export as selector. I hope that you are familiar with. If you are not, you can go back and watch my other videos about web scraping. Alright, so this is basically an example of static website, which means that you can scrape this website using Scrapy or any other tool. Remember that if you have a complex website, let's say if you have paginations, if you have categories and subcategories, try to use Scrapy framework. But if it is a static website, let's say one page portfolio maybe that you land on and you get all the content from it, you can use requests along with maybe LXML or beautiful soup, because you are not scraping the website on large scale or too many pages. So in my case, I prefer to start with Scrapy to make sure that I am on the right track. Alright, so once okay, I can see the content, so let's close this one. Let's go back and try to get scroll. Copy the link and try to fetch it. Now in this case, if you look here, we still get 200 response, and if we try to view this, we don't see our content, okay, here, and it says loading, which means that this is a good example of websites that do not block you, but they have dynamic content. But so whenever you try to fetch the data, you will not see the response. The reason is that it doesn't mean that you are blocked. It means that simply means that some backend ajex request didn't make it through. Okay, let me refresh it. Just go to inspect network and select fetch xhr, and you will see some failed request here. If you look here, this is basically an xhr request which didn't go through, which means that when we fetched this link, it was supposed to send request to this link and get the data and then populate this whole page. Now if you look here, we have this page. This is basically an API endpoint which is used to send the request, and it gets JSON response, and then it uses JavaScript to populate this area. Alright, so what I'm going to do is, in this case, it's always good idea to use this API instead. Okay, and just pick this link and go back to your shell, fetch it. You will get 200. See, you got 200 here as well, but you didn't get the response. But in this case, you still get 200. But now if I take print the response here, you will see that we have got the response. But there is only one problem, that response is basically not HTML, it is basically a JSON format. So if you do that, response.json is going to print the JSON like it is supposed to be. Okay, so now you can extract. If you are familiar with parsing JSON, you can simply parse it like you do a dictionary. You parse a dictionary. Okay, just do this and you will be able to extract the authors from this website. So this is basically an API endpoint. Most of the websites have APIs loading dynamic content. So if you can get that API, it's always a good idea to use that API. Alright, so let's see if we can use any other this JavaScript. But I think we will be able to get the response out of it, because it's not dynamically loading. It's being loaded by JavaScript, but it's not using any backend APIs. Okay, so in another case, sometimes we have the data inside the script tag of a website. Let me see if that is the case here. Alright, it seems that website is loading the data, but it is using delayed method. Let's try to look at this. Try to copy a portion of it and try to search it. So this is what I am talking about. This is I think this is the third most common way to display the data on the website. In first case, the data was static. In second case, we had the API. In this case, if I try to fetch this is interesting. If I try to fetch it, I get 200, but I will not see any. I will probably see any response, I think. See, but if I go to inspect element and try to pick this. This is not the one, I think. Okay, this is the one. If I pick this, see, the content is loaded now. Okay, so let me just search it and see we have this inside our script tag, and it is delayed in millisecond, which is 10,000, which means that it is delayed 10 seconds. So what it means is that whenever you load a website, it's going to wait for 10 seconds to populate all the fields inside of that script. So this is the third most common way to populate the data. The advantage is that if I try to fetch it, I extract the text from it. If you look here, if I use this span and class, let's just use this code, div and class, and try to look at this, I don't think I will be able to get it. Let's try to do response.xpath, div If you look here, I don't have anything, although I still have multiple codes in the page, but I don't see anything coming back from this response.xpath selector. Why this is happening? This is happening is because whatever this has, that does not have these codes in the HTML, but the codes are inside this script tag. Always remember that you can get it by going directly to this script and get the data from that script. You can use a regular expression after that. Let me just show you. Let's just use this delete as a text response.xpath, and inside of script, any script tag which contains text delay in milliseconds. So now we got our selector response. Let's get it /text dot get. So if you look here, we have got the response. This is all the data that is being populated inside the HTML, but we are not able to get it using regular XPath on our tags. So from here on, you can clean it up and use it as a JSON, and extract the information you want, or if you're good at regular expressions, you can also use that to extract the data. So this is basically an important something important that you need to know. You don't need to use Selenium or Playwright to get this kind of data, although websites are dynamic, but you can still do it using simple request or scrapy.fetch. Alright, so now let's move on to next step and try to see if we can get another case. Okay, I think rest of them are just ajex based filter from the filters and some custom requests. I think these are the most important 3 steps if you are getting 200 response. Okay, but a lot of time that while you're working, you will not always see 200 response when you are trying to fetch the link, which means that you are being blocked from the website. So ethically, I think you should first look at the robots.txt file of the website. Let me just go there. Inside in any website, wherever you have this .com or .cc any other endpoint here, .tech or anything, after that just type / and go robots.txt, press enter, and not found because there's none. So if I change it to google.com and press enter, see, it is there is always the policy of a website inside this robots.txt file that tells you that what a robot can do and what a robot cannot do inside that website. So most of the time, if you look here, it means that if a request doesn't have a user agent, it is not allowed to do all these things. If you look here, a lot of disallowed, allowed, disallowed, which means that if there is no user agent inside the request header, it will be blocked. Okay, so what you can do is you can add a custom header inside your request. Okay, in Scrapy, let me just clear it. Okay, in Scrapy you can define a header. How you define a header is that you can go to inspect, network, clean everything, try to refresh any page that you have. Okay, click on all, the robots.txt file. If you go bottom, you will see this user agent here, and this is basically the user agent that you need to add. Alright, so let's define a headers and call it. It's going to be a dictionary, and inside of it I'm going to write user agent. Okay, and now we have this user agent here. Okay, now we have this header. You can simply pass it inside your requests as well. If you are using request library, just import request, and you can do, see, this is basically how you can use this headers equal to headers. Or if you are using Scrapy and inside fetch, you can use that, but inside Scrapy what you can do is you can simply you can use this just like this, just scrapy.request, and now you have the link, and then you have the header. Press enter. It's not going to send the request, but try to fetch R, because I haven't defined links, or don't worry about it. Okay, so fetch R, and it's going to fetch the link. for you, okay, and that is saved in response that I have said before. So this is something that you need to update before you send a request. And after that, in some cases website is blocking you on the basis of your location, so you can use proxies, and you can rotate proxies if you are sending too many requests. You can use some request, web scraping APIs. Zite has APIs. Scraper API is really good that you can use to scrape a website. So there are other rotating IP rotating features. But all that, considering all that, if you don't want to use that, and if you want to if you are still getting blocked after using user agents and using you know headers and everything that you can think of, then you can use as a last resort, you can use Selenium or Playwright. This is the last stage that you can, if nothing works, you can use Selenium. So to use Selenium, the simplest way is to use from Selenium, just import the Selenium, create a driver.chrome, and it's going to launch a driver window for you, okay, and just driver.get, hit enter, and it's going to get that link for you, okay. Once it's loaded, you can move, give it the response to Beautiful Soup, or if you want to use you know um, response object of selector object of scrapy, that you can use, that I think you can use as well from scrapy dot selector, import selector, okay. And now let's create a response equals to selector text equals to driver dot page, I think it's page source. All right, so now we have response object. Now what you can do is just do this, and it's going to parse just like the simple response. All right, so you can now let me sum this up. First step is try to fetch the link. You should get the response if it is 200. Now move on to second step. If you are getting 200 response, but you are not seeing the content, maybe there is an API in backend, or maybe there is script tag. Look for API in ajex request. Third step is look for script tag. If there is no API request, then there is probably a script tag where all the data is being loaded, okay. The fourth is if you are not getting 200, then you should move on to try to understand the website is probably blocking you. So look for robots.txt file inside the website, and then try to add user agent in the request inside a header, and try to fetch it. If you are still not getting 200, then move on to adding some cookies as well. Sometimes websites use cookies to track a user. So in a lot of cases, if you are scraping something behind login, I think in those cases you need cookies to get the data as well. But that's also a good idea to know. And after that, if you don't want to use cookies, you can go for Selenium. Use Selenium or Playwright. Playwright has really good support for Python and Scrapy, so I think it's a good idea to use Playwright. And if you are familiar with Selenium, you can use that. I have plenty of videos about Selenium. I made few for Playwright as well, so you can go there and watch them. Alright, so this is it for today. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe the channel, and also hit this like video also like this video, okay. Anyway, have a good day. Thanks.